What's up, troopers? What's happening? Oh my god. Mike, you surprised me with this lightsaber action. Is this a new lightsaber that you've acquired recently?
No, I've had it for years.
Oh, okay. He's decided to.
I'm just here championing the Republic people, the Jedi Guardians watching that didn't get what they wanted.
Oh man, we're just getting right into it. Well, we're gonna get to that, but first let's cover our patrons, our lovely patrons. Want to give a random shout out to David Reppersberg. Thank you for supporting us. We have all sorts of fun stuff that we're doing on the channel. You guys did a TFT cast without me, cry, just the other day to have some rapid reactions to the Ministravaganza stuff. I was a little busy. We'll talk about what I was busy doing here in a second. But I do also want to thank our sponsors, your Game Toppers and Legion Terrain. You are not going to see any of those behind me right now. In fact, you've probably noticed that my audio quality and camera quality might be a little bit lower than usual. I apologize. You might see this extremely stylish hotel art that's in the background. I don't know where they buy these things.
I mean, they're definitely just like off Amazon. They're like the generic prints. Like,
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
And at a certain point, like we're going to get to the point where all of these things were actually made by an AI. If it's not true already, like probably this hotel is too old for it to have been in that zone. It's a little bit dusty in here, but I'm here at the scenic Spring Hill Suites in Oklahoma City Airport region because I was in Oklahoma City playing a tournament. And so apologies for the audio and video quality maybe being a little bit below par, but I have plenty of downtime before the single flight that exists between Seattle and Oklahoma City on any given day, which is in like the mid-afternoon. So I had some time to kill this morning, and Mike and I decided, hey, let's just get podding. We're also going to be recording later this week with the Wills. We're going to be recording that this Friday, so we're probably looking at a weekend release on that. And we will
It's just Schick, right? I don't think it's
going is it just Schick? All right, well, I think so. One of the Wills at the very least.
I could be wrong about that, but I think the invite only said Will Schick. It would be great if Mr. Pugani could join us, for sure.
We will either be sated or pleasantly surprised, either way. So looking forward to that, and then of course, like we're not going to get through everything on Ministrav today, especially because we have a little tournament to cover. We're going to focus on the stuff that is like legal now, that's new. And then I think next time we'll get a little bit more into like the points rebalance stuff, and then as time goes on, we'll talk more about the new stuff. I guess like really quickly for the new stuff, what is the one thing that excited you the most out of just like the new product reveals that are upcoming?
I mean, it's Mace, right? Like,
yeah.
I've been begging for Mace forever.
We all have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a virtual guarantee that his one pip is going to be called "This Party's Over," which I think is going to be great.
I mean, it better be. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem.
There's like no other choice. It's even less of a choice than Anakin's "This Is Where the Fun Begins" was at the time. Super excited about that. And then, hey, I'm just going to also say the fact that they added the like Plo Koon, like Shakti is cool. I don't know a ton about Shakti. I know that she died in a deleted scene of episode 3, but then they deleted
people
it.
People are saying that
actually die.
Yeah, she's like died like 5 times or something. I don't actually know. I'd like to see the facts on Wikipedia for that, but
yeah,
I mean, maybe, like whatever.
We'll dive into that once we know more about her. But like, I think Plo Koon is an awesome character. He's the kind of guy that he seemed like the Jedi who sort of like liked the clones the most. That he was like buddies with them.
Wolfpack, man.
Yeah, that's right. And then the Five Head himself, Ki-Adi-Mundi, the guy who forgot about the Sith like sort of becoming a thing in the Acolyte time period, apparently. And like didn't tell anybody about it. Don't worry about it.
I think overall it's just like we're essentially quadrupling the number of named lightsabers in Republic, which is kind of crazy if you think about it.
I think it's just doubling, right? We have Yoda,
Sorry,
Ahsoka,
yes,
Obi, and
doubling is what I
Anakin.
meant to say.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, there are 4
But
in the
we
box,
are doubling it.
so quadruple. Yeah. No, doubling.
Right.
Yes, is what I meant to say.
But yeah, doubling it is awesome. I kind of wonder, like, are they all going to be commanders? That seems like a lot.
So
We
Will
already
said
have
that
too many
they were
commanders.
some sort of mixture of commanders and operatives.
Okay.
Whether that
Fair.
means you can take Mace as like a commander or an operative, or like some of them are commanders and some of them are operatives, sort of unclear.
Yeah. I could see I could see Kiadi and Shakti being operatives, or maybe I don't know. Like, it's tough because I think they're literally all Jedi Masters.
It is the Jedi
In the
Council
fiction.
pack.
Right. So super excited about that. But then yeah, from my end, it's Trench. He's he is a he is like a mustache twisting tarantula. And I think I said before that there's good Filoni and there's bad Filoni. I think
Sure.
I think that both are represented in that pack. I see Savage Opress as the bad Filoni, and I think that Trench, Trench is like sort of exemplifies what, in my opinion, a Saturday morning cartoon should be. Of just being a gigantic mustache twisting, later on cybernetic tarantula. I'm hoping that there's like some options for a more cyberized Trench after he's been like fake killed a couple times, which is something that happened until that season 7 episode where Anakin was finally like, you know what, I'm just going to stab you through the chest and finally finish you off.
let's just move on.
We're done. We're done with Trench, okay? Stop trying to make Trench happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, excited about a lot of that stuff. I'm sure that as time goes on, we'll talk about it more and more. It seems like the Weakways and the speeder tank are the next things coming out, I think.
I think
if that's still
I don't know.
truly Q1.
I'm a little unclear on what the timeline
Yeah,
is.
we're gonna ask Wills about that too, if we can, to try to clarify that. But there's stuff right now that we're gonna talk about. But before we talk about the stuff coming out right now, Mike, I tried to warn everybody. I literally did.
Yep. You literally came out on a cast several times and were like, I think this list is busted.
And I described my entire strategy on the last podcast.
Yeah.
And so this was like, I was at Oklahoma Open, and even though like I told people all weekend that I was like secretly wanting to be in a zone where I would just lose a game and therefore I could totally go into relaxation mode. I wasn't gonna I was gonna play as hard as I could until I lost. But then if I did lose, then I could finally just like chill out because I got like the day 2 Worlds invite last week, and this wasn't a technical true GT, even though it had several more people than the British Columbia one did, and from all over the country too, which was awesome. But so I start with the win in round 1. And sorry, I'm just pulling up my Longshanks to make sure that I get everybody right. So against Larry Light, who was also playing CIS, he killed more guys than I did, but I was able to just like pull out I pulled out keeping the center and close the pocket, and that just like sort of made the victory points get a little bit jilted by the time we were getting up to time. And then I played this guy, Isaiah Wallace, after that. I remember Isaiah. You might remember me talking about Isaiah's list when we were at the last tournament, and you, Mike, were intimating that Isaiah was going to like be doing something different. Or did you know that he was playing the same
I knew
thing?
he was taking the same thing.
Because like the way you were talking about it, it was making me think like, oh man, Isaiah's got some tech that he's going to be bringing to Oklahoma.
Just me causing some drama.
So yeah, he had the 5 character list, and um, also at first, I want to say briefly is that I played almost the same list that I did in BC. So I spent a long time in the last episode talking about what all that is. The only changes I made was that I changed the operative from Tyrannical Taskmaster, which is the master of the Technoforce, to Seek and Destroy, which is the marksman plus target one version.
Sure.
Um, and then in doing so, I actually took out sliced comms, and I put into the fray on him, and I put the mobility upgrade on him instead to make him have like a little bit more of a distance threat. And having marksman and access to lots of aims with steady does make you a wide ranging like crit machine that allows you to just like kind of get stuff done. So other than that, I'm pretty sure the list was exactly the same. I took the same battle cards, and the only command card change I made was that I changed Brutal Enforcer out for the Demoralized to 1 pip, and the potential double attack, which I did get off once, by the way. So anyway, game 2 is against Isaiah, and this one was really interesting because we, I think he was red player, and we flipped into breakthrough, which
Mm.
was not what I wanted to play against his list. But this, he had an interesting decision to make because it was like he has potentially four prepared positions units in his list. Is that he has 3 marksmen and then he has Anakin, and so he ended up like putting 2 marksmen on one side, 1 marksman on another side, and then he put Anakin on the 1 marksman side to like kind of have, not obviously not
Like a
quite equal, but
hedge a
equalish
little bit.
threats
Yeah.
on each side. Um, and so the secondary in that was surface scan. So it wasn't the type of secondary that you depended on your opponent interacting with you per se in order to score it for yourself.
Sure.
Obviously, like you can interact with your opponent for like a big score if you score on their side, but it's not like recon. It's not like mark targets where you like need. It's not like seek and destroy where you actually need to interact with your opponent's stuff um, in order to do stuff. And so I made the decision that I was almost going to all deploy on the side that didn't have Anakin on it. um, because my thought was that I have fast movers on my list, and what I would do is I would do suicide dives on his home point to deny him the like your home point is clear
Oh,
victory
sure.
point.
Yeah, yeah. You just
Uh,
can toss like a stap over there or
yeah, so you
whatever.
toss a Stap in there, you toss a Geo in there, you toss Sunfac, and you're like, okay, they might die, but as long as they exist at the end of the round, then
It's
they've
fine.
achieved what they need to achieve. And then if I can completely clear my half of the board, then I'll keep my extra point. And so I did the thing that I think is usually not the right strategy with breakthrough, which is like to completely almost ignore one side.
Sure.
Uh, I did send a stat that I thought was safe to hide behind a building. Bad Batch actually like did his 3 pip and went out and murdered it really fast.
Nice.
So that was a mistake of mine. And then the Geos I sent like straight up the middle to a place that I thought was safe for them, except that Anakin and Ahsoka both moved faster than I thought they would, and those Geos were like dying pretty fast. But I was able to pull it out basically because he rolled slightly below average on his defense rolls in the Jedi,
Mm,
and I luckily kept my troopers far back enough that he couldn't bubble wrap himself,
sure.
and so some aqua shots, some stab shots, some B1 shots even, and then those 2 Jedi will eventually go down. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan and his generic operative are stuck on the other side, not able to like affect my side of the battlefield at all. And so I was able to pull that out. But that was a really good game. And I was even though for Isaiah he admitted it was like a fun and around list. That was probably the most concerned I was as the whole tournament went on that I was going to find a way to lose. Um, Meanwhile, while I was doing that, and people can catch this on the Winter Moon channel, one enemy of the podcast, Brian Bear, was playing against Colton Evans, who Brian did run his double X34 because he's evil. And we're gonna get to that maybe a little bit later, but he I haven't gotten to watch this stream yet, so I can't fully comment on it. Were you watching that one, Mike? The
Uh,
Brian versus Colton round two.
I
So
was like watching it in the periphery. I can't say that I was watching it closely enough to know like the details.
yeah, basically, what I've heard is that Colton was able to just like keep many Ewoks alive, and that the X34 shooting didn't really achieve much.
Sure.
And
It's not a good matchup for the X34s.
it's usually not, honestly. So yeah, like I think that one only went 4 rounds, but Brian basically lost by, I think, 1 or 2 victory points if I remember right. And so that was my opening, Mike, because I'll tell you right now, it was specifically Brian that I think was a loss for me.
I
Uh,
think I think the X34s are actually like really really good against your list.
I think that they're extremely good against my list, and so I think it either probably in like a near future episode we'll talk about to what extent both my list and the X34 list have truly changed in terms of their viability in the current environment with the points changes. But
One of these
uh,
things is not like the other.
that's right. Um, so the after that, I played against Colton, and so Brian, Mike, you sent me a message that I didn't see until later that I needed to get vengeance for my boy
Mm-hmm.
against Colton, and that game was also tough. That was intercept though, and so that gave me an advantage. Ewok's not amazing on intercepts, uh, at least compared to a list that has 3 geos in it, where you can just
Yeah.
like do suicide dives, similar to what my breakthrough strategy would have been. And the terrain was favorable to the point that he was able to set up, like he was smart in that he set up a standby trap with slingers to prevent my geo moving in strategy. Because this is a naked geo, a slinger standby probably would kill it,
Sure.
or at least
Yeah.
would have a decent chance of killing it. But the terrain was such that I could sort of sneak up on him, and then with his very last move, get into melee with a melee Ewok unit, and
Mm-hmm.
thereby avoid the standby attack. So that allowed me to sort of like stall on that side, and then on the other side, I won the fight because he was sort of like 1/3, 2/3, and I was Geos here and the whole rest of my army over here. So I was going to beat 2/3 of an Ewok army with my entire other army pretty much every time.
Mm-hmm.
And he did also do one of the things that sort of delays my list, which is to play change of plans on round two. It's the second time this has happened to me, and it makes me like sad, and it makes me need to be a little bit extra conservative with Grievous. Luckily, Grievous was able to get behind Chewie the ATST uh, to to avoid any of that business, which mattered not only for keeping Grievous alive, but later on it meant that Grievous could just like slam into the backside of the ATSD, which made his overrun Impact 3 Surge to crit Ram 1
Mm.
with Pierce 1, which is very good.
Yeah.
I was able to pull out that one too. And so yeah, I ended day one 3-0, and just like wondering what's happening with my life. Like how did I get here? I wanted to be chilling by now. Um,
You're a
but oh
scoundrel,
well.
Evan. You're a scoundrel. This is
I,
expected.
I guess I am now. Sorry, I'm not adopting the Dornbos Barry mentality here. But meanwhile, I should mention was having a great time. I'll do all the accolades at the end. So day two, both these games were streamed, so I got to spend all of day two on the stream table. It was only 2 games because it was just a 5 round Swiss, like sort of big tournament,
Sure.
which is nice for this size, honestly. Like I think that works well because everybody got to play, but you sort of functionally had a top cut because there were 4 3-0s at the end of day one.
Yeah.
Um, and so I played against Justin. He is also known as Houdini33. He's the guy who's one of the two Army esports dudes who they've been to LVO I think a couple times, and just really cool guy. We learned that we both had Tennessee backgrounds, so we had some bonding over that. He was playing. He was playing CIS. He was playing Dooku Asajj, and uh, with this one, I was just able to kill Dooku really fast. It that I went back and looked at a little bit of the stream mic, and I saw when you signed on, and like you signed on, and you're like, "How's it going?" This is like the fifth activation of round two,
Yeah.
and Dooku had just died, I think, when you
Yeah.
signed on. So
They were
yeah, like
basically like, yeah, Dooku's dead. I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
so that I had really good battle cards in both of my final two matches. For me, like I was blue player for the first one, but he had nothing but he actually ended up with like three things that he didn't like between advantages and primary and secondary. So he just like had to make some choices, and so I was able to do recover the research, which against a 12-act Dooku Asajj list, like my list is just going to be better at that because it moves faster, it has more acts,
Yep.
and it moves faster. Once Dooku died, it was just like sort of sweeping around from there. I was able to do. It did feel pretty good that I saved like I had gotten a B1 kill earlier, but I saved the sweep and clear until Staps could run around the back end to kill Dooku to
Mm-hmm.
score the 2-pointer. So that's just a reminder that you don't always want to claim it right away if you think that a kill is coming up that you might get more points for. That might be a harder one. And then the final was against Reagan Dugan, who's another very good player, who's known for like trying to use like off meta lists, but then doing really well with them. Uh, and he definitely was doing that because he was 4-0 with a list that contains none other than Empire Boba Fett, who, to be fair, I think that me and Isaiah were harsher on him than you were when we're talking about potential points changes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is still speed 3. Uh,
Okay.
and he can do some damage. I gotta give a shout out to Reagan, by the way, because he straight up told me before the match started that that whipcord didn't work on vehicles because I had been scared to death of whipcord against Jedi arts to just like
Oh,
turn off my 2-pip.
oh yeah.
But whipcord specifically says trooper, and so it just like doesn't work.
Yeah.
Uh, which definitely helps me. But in that game, uh, Mike, you probably have something to say about how I started that game, don't you?
I
This was on
do.
stream also, by the way. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Just
yeah.
lay it on.
You stepped up with your staps and like just got shot with everything.
Okay, it wasn't everything.
I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know. It
so
was a little
I
aggressive.
I had a decision to make, and so he had like the other stuff in his list was that he had a T-21 Storm, he had 2 Ion Snows, he had a Riot Control Squad, he had Death Trooper with DTS-16, he had Din, and then a couple scouts. I think that's basically the long and short of it, as far as I can remember. And so those snows, they had recon intel, and so I
They
knew
did.
that they would be able to threaten like a lot on my list. But he had already deployed a snow on the other side,
Yep.
and so I was just thinking, okay, I might get shot back with these stats, but I can take out more of his points wise than I'll get in return fire if it's just the snow. But of
Sure.
course, I forgot that the Death Troopers would also be able to shoot me with their range 4 gun. So that was my oopsie. And what's funny is that I got a lot of theoretical kills on his units,
Yeah.
but he was hiding behind a train that gave him like the perfect line of sight cover. And so I was taking shots at like two possible wounds each time.
I think I would have been okay with it had you been able to like wholesale kill those units from like a theoretical
Right.
perspective. But like
Yeah.
you were just like you were shooting at like one like a squad where you could only kill one guy every shot, and it was just like oh
It was two
no,
sometimes.
two sometimes, right? And
Yeah.
I was just like this is like a 6-man unit, man. It's got you're like taking shots that could wholesale be removing or like removing half squads, and it felt like a lot of risk for not a lot of payback. I think I mean, your list is busted enough that I think it didn't matter. But I also think like you probably could have taken shots into that specific unit while being a little bit more conservative too. I think the stats were pretty aggressively placed.
I could what I could have done is that I could have just wailed on one riot at a time from complete safety.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's probably what I should have done. Because if I did that, I probably actually would have eventually just straight up killed the riot, which had an intel token.
Yes. That's what I
And
thought you were
so,
trying to do. Like,
well, I
because
saw
like
the
if he drops
snows.
that intel token, like the game was basically over.
Fair, accurate. And but this is where having 13x like paid off the best so far out of all now 10 games that I've played with this list in tournament play. Was that his list was 12, and he played standing orders to to have the most active advantage that he could, because he knew I was going to play tactical download. You know, he'd done his homework. Because I just like always, I pretty much always do it. And if I would only not do it maybe against the 14x speeder list. But anyway, um, it meant that, but even so, it meant that I did have the last activation of round one. And
Yep.
so, of course, I was Grievous. And this list is so good on intercepts. Like, yet again, uh, because intercept, it sort of like breakthrough it to a certain degree makes a player make decisions about which side they're going to commit to with certain units.
Yeah.
And so one side had Din and Boba, and they had placed bounties on Sunfac and General Grievous, which were smart choices because like
Yeah.
easy to kill and then high desire to kill for the two of them.
Yep.
So with Sunfac, I kept him behind a building for the entire game.
Yep.
And hit him. And then with General Grievous, like since I knew that Din and Boba were on the other side, I was just like, okay, well, Grievous is going to go to the side that doesn't have the bounty hunters on it. And it was 2 games in a row where I did like a fairly boring Jedi Arts, like into 2 units. But it was in the process of clearing an entire side of the board, which made it worth it.
New Grievous does not need Jedi Arts to go off to be good, which I
Right.
think is in contrast to
'Cause
old
he's so
Grievous.
fast.
Yes, old Grievous is like, you know what? I kind of need this card to do damage for it to feel like I'm
Right.
doing something. Whereas, like, you know, I think I've come to the conclusion that New Grievous kind of just has Son of Skywalker every turn.
Yeah.
In addition to his
doing
command card, right? Like you're doing the overrun, which is basically attack number 1, and then you've got, you know, is it the shot or whatever, and that is basically lightsaber number 2, and you're still moving twice minimum, right?
Yep.
And like, and then you throw in, you know, Son of Skywalker every turn with Jedi Arts on top of it, and turns out that's pretty good unit.
I kind of think that him having Pierce on the gun feels actually a little bit wild.
That's sort of what I mean. It's basically it's like
Yeah.
it's just his lightsaber attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so like they get cover on the gunshot, but he sort of just a crit. So and often he's shooting somebody who's directly in front of him, so there's like no cover at all.
Right. He's so close. He's
Uh,
either touching the terrain that's giving them the cover, or like, you know, they're out of cover, right?
yeah, exactly. And even though I didn't use this, I probably could have used it more to my advantage. But the overrun does have scatter, and so you
Sure.
can absolutely just like if you don't kill the guy with the overrun, then you can leave one mini in front of yourself in order to just like have it be a legal shot. And yeah, like so he does a ton of damage
Yeah.
every round, and then when Jet Arts comes, it's funny because Jet Arts usually does like no damage, but when he starts to crit, that changes like immensely.
I mean, it changes the
To
math pretty significantly.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, like it increases the odds by an entire third for the white dice, for instance. So like it was and so yeah, like I clear that side of the board, and then I did. I'm not. Did you see like the standby stuff I was doing with the B1s at the very end? Like, do you think that that was the right play?
I'm gonna be honest. I turned. Oh, actually, yes, I did see that. You definitely should have shot. Was it Boba or was it Din? Whatever
It was
Mando it
Din.
was, you definitely should have shot him. That unit was either gonna just die, which it did, and so the move didn't matter. Like that was the only clear flamethrower target, right?
Yeah, but if I hit one shield on defense, then the unit doesn't die.
But why does that
And
matter?
that's literally a 50-50 chance of hitting one shield.
Sure, but you've already collapsed. Like that side has already collapsed, so like you don't need extra activations over there. So really, the only thing that B1 that can do to be helpful is to put wounds into Boba before they die, which means
It
like
was Din.
sorry, did they're the
Yeah.
same character, whatever. Um,
Wow.
you know, the only thing that they can do that is useful is like shoot at Din. Um, like generally, like that's not even within the standby like conversation. The only thing that they can do really to actively affect the board state is to kill stuff. They're gonna get flamethrowed, and even if you roll a shield, it's just a unit leader, which means they can't do that job anymore. So I
Right.
think you definitely take the shot.
Okay, that's fair. I wanted to shoot Din with Aquas and a full unit of stats, and then to theoretically be able to then charge him with Carl, my super attack after that,
Sure.
to have a real chance of just like killing him that round.
Mm.
Um, and so as luck would have it, so I ran away with the B1s, and then one of the units still died from the range one flamethrower shot,
Yep.
naturally. But then I was able to just like aqua shot, stop shot. He actually just died in two shots because he didn't roll very well on defense. So
Yeah.
that and then he dropped a surface scan token, and that was just like fully game right there. So we just like called it at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and so here's what I'll do the accolade stuff. Oklahoma Open. This was like probably probably like the best, sort of like medium con experience. It's obviously very different from an Adepticon where it's like this huge gigantic thing, but like traveling for a medium sized con, so much matters, including the hotel's proximity to like places to eat,
Yep.
uh, and like the venue itself, how much space there is, like all this stuff was honestly like really spot on, and very pleasant. Everything is very cheap, um, in the grand scheme of things, and somehow we just ended up with a ton of really good players. Like there's a ton of really good players in the Texas Oklahoma area anyway, but then also Isaiah came down and Caitlin came down with him, and then Brian and Trent came down from Indiana. So you sort of randomly had just like this like big gathering of really good players, and because I cheated the most, and my list was the most broken there. I was able to get. Hang on, I'm gonna point my camera.
Nice. Look at all that swag.
I also On top of that, I got Best Painted for my Aqua Droids, which is
Oh,
the first time
buddy.
I've ever won a Best Painted award.
That's awesome.
And the prizes for that were insane. I'll put up a picture of the Aqua Droids, by the way, on the YouTube, uh, on the actual video. But also, I won that case for Best Painted, like, which is an
Mm.
insane prize because like it's a really nice case. It lights up. It has magnetic trays on it, and then on top of that, um, Grant won Best Painted for Grant Saunier, very close friend of the Pet Cast, member of the Palpiteer. He was there also. He's sort of part of the reason I was there because he was like the one who told us about this thing. Uh, he won a mat for Best Painted, and then he just gave it to me because he said that he already had it. So like Grant found an extra way to donate to the site, which is way too generous.
She whiz,
But
man. Thank you.
yeah, and it's funny because this is like an actual snow mat because he had noticed on our videos that that my snow mat looks like sort of half grassy, and he
It's like the
thought
snow is
that,
melting, you
yeah,
know.
and he was like, maybe just like do yourself a favor and get like a real snow mat. So I appreciate the help with that, Grant. I also got a foil Supreme Commander. Is that something that
That
has come
is,
out elsewhere? Okay.
I have two or three of those. Yeah.
And then was this like a GT thing? Like
That
this?
is a store pack thing, I think. I
Oh,
don't think it's a
okay.
GT thing. It's like the new tournament. I don't know if new is the right word, but it's a
Right.
tournament kit thing.
What's funny is that along with these, there's also just like literally regular copies of the basic command cards,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
push and
yeah.
ambush.
It's kind of weird. I don't
Yeah.
there was some interesting decisions made there.
Hey, I'll take it. But yeah, I
It's all
mean,
good.
I got so yeah. There's a foil Fear and Dead Men, Knowledge and Defense, Supreme Commander, and Return of the Jedi. So all those are cards that see play. Uh, so yeah, there you go. The list did become 26 points more expensive before the tournament was even over, which is pretty funny. Along with like every other CIS list there, I should mention.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, because everyone had two aquas in it,
yeah,
right?
exactly. But the good news is, Mike, that I've already made changes to make it fit, right? Because I
I mean,
changed.
I feel like we were like theorizing changes
We
before
were
this
already
event
pre-planning for
happened,
this.
and we were assuming like the scenario was going to be much worse for this list than it is going to be.
Yeah, I was assuming that I would fully have to take a B1 out, that,
Yeah.
it might literally go up by 38 and that I would just like take a B1 out and that would be the change to my list, but I don't even have to do that. Like I didn't really need the steady upgrade. I literally forgot about Into the Fray the entire tournament. I didn't need E-gear. And then you can change one Geo to a B1 and that way you still have a fast moving threat. You have better order control actually, and you still have the same number of activations.
I'm going to
And
be
then you,
honest. I
yeah,
I know we're not talking about points today, but I put the the aqua thing into tabletop admiral and was like, this still feels way too cheap. like just the unit, like it's what is a full unit of aqua droids? It's like 110 now.
it's
It's less than that, I
10
think.
it's 106 for the full unit
Yeah. Okay.
because they each went up by 13. They were 93 before.
Yeah.
So that's 111 with LTA, which when your list has two sources of directs and lots of coordinates, like having LTA on as many things as you can, that's just money in the bank.
Yes, you're
Uh,
printing name tokens, quite literally.
yeah. I mean, I cannot. I literally did not make an aqua shot without a name token in that tournament.
I
Not
believe
not
that.
not a single time. Um, and so and so that's talking about rounds, whatever. And usually I had two. Round one, I had three. So like, that's per shot. Cheating. So yeah, we'll see. I think that for the content, I'm gonna be taking it down to Portland, because there's like a tournament that's already at 26 people down there in a couple weeks, and they have a very strong crowd. So I think that I just want to keep playing it until I lose. So let's see when that happens.
Yeah, yeah. I dare you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, that's anything else about? Oh yeah. So me and Trent and Brian, we all shared a hotel room, and we were Trent was number 2 overall. He missed out on top sis because of me. Sorry, Trent.
Nice.
And Brian was number 4 overall and top rebel. So pretty strong showing from that particular part of the hotel. Yeah, we had a good time. I think I'm gonna be on with I was on with the X and One guys for like a few minutes talking about Ministrav reactions on their latest cast. They did a reactions thing, and then I think I'm gonna be going back on to talk a little bit more about the tournament on their cast. So, you and I don't feel bad, Mike, because I know that you were cheating on me a couple weeks ago. You were on Shadow Scout's YouTube channel.
I don't know what you're
Uh,
talking about. I don't ever cheat on anybody. We don't cheat on this podcast, Evan.
yeah, that's fine. I know the truth. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's forgivable. Yeah, had a great time, and let's just see when I can be beaten, or not me. Well, let's see when this list can be
There's
beaten,
that
because that's
arrogance
the
kicking in. Yeah, yeah. Give
damn it,
in to
it
the
snuck in there.
anger.
No, I know for a fact I was not the best player at that tournament, but I think I had the best list, and that sometimes matters a lot. That's what
Tank, tank.
that's what Kyle probably would have said, right? When he was taking Blizzard Force all over the world trying to get it nerfed,
Yeah.
doing like doing the Lord's work. He took away many more big tournaments than I probably ever will with this thing.
You got
Uh,
time. You got time, Evan.
I guess. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So let's switch to talking about the new. Like I said, we're gonna focus on the new content that is legal right now today, and then we're gonna be talking with Will/Wills, and then after we've had a little bit of time to digest and we've gotten a chance to talk to AMG, that's when we're going to talk about sort of the state of balance as a whole. Just because I think that that'll be sort of a cleaner take, so to speak, on the whole thing. So
It will definitely be less hot
let's
takey.
a little less hot takey. I love the hot takes when they happen organically, but if we have here, we're given an option to be a little bit less steaming with the takes. So let's take it. Let's be a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
chill.
We will
Although
try.
we will try. I'm sure there's going to be some takes on these upgrade cards. So there's lucky for us, and the time it's going to take to go over them. There were only 5. It Both with this and the battle cards, we're going to ask the Wills about this, but it seems like there's a real drip strategy rather than a bolus. I had thought that we would get. I didn't think we were going to get any battle cards to be legal for Ministrav, but I thought that all the rest of the upgrades would be released and legal. But instead, it seems like we're getting sort of another partial smattering. This time it was characters as unit attachments. All 5 of them are. Mike, where do you want to start? You haven't pulled up?
I do. I wanna end with Cassian. You can start with whoever you want.
Okay. Let's start with the pain first.
Okay.
Clone Captain Rex.
Yeah.
You feel like pain is the right word, right? Or sorry, maybe not pain. I shouldn't be over dramatic. I'm like doing it again. Wistfulness. I see this card and I see something that could be awesome if it was 10 points cheaper. What do you think about that? So let me say what it does. You put it in a clone core unit only, clone trooper
Yeah.
core unit. He has 2 health. It costs 38 points. He is a leader. And he takes up the captain, the squad leader slot. So this unit increases the courage by 1, and it gains 1 command and 1 training upgrade icon. When this unit defeats an enemy unit after the effect is resolved, this unit may make 1 free action. And then he also has dual hand blasters that is melee to 2 with 2 red dice. It is not a sidearm, so he is allowed to use whatever other weapon the unit would normally have, which is important. Definitely makes him more playable than he would have been if that was a sidearm. That would have been really tough. So he gives you slots, and he gives you 2 health and obviously an extra attack dice, whatever that happens to be. But this ability, like the actual, and yeah, extra courage also. But the ability is very conditional. And the free
Yeah.
action is almost always going to be a move. or maybe a dodge.
Yeah, to be clear, I see a lot of people confused about this effect. This is not giving him Gunslinger. This does not give you an attack.
Correct.
A lot of people read this and were like, "Oh my god, if you kill a unit, you just get to shoot something else." That is not what this is. You do
Nope.
not get a free attack action. You get a free action, which still has to adhere to. You only get to attack once within your activation.
Right. So that means that like you could take an aim to share, I guess. But you're usually going to want to like move towards an objective or like go hide somewhere or maybe take a dodge. And so there are situations where that would be helpful, but if you're talking about a clone core unit where you wouldn't be able to have Ahsoka in the unit because she also takes up the leader slot. It could be a super squad, and therefore, like it could be like a pretty big pool. But you wouldn't want to rely on getting a kill in order to like get this move off if that was going to be life or death for your strategy.
Oh man, you've got my my grinding going. I'm gonna try and be tempered here.
Okay.
This upgrade card is an expensive upgrade card that allows you the privilege to spend more points to maybe do a thing.
Yeah. So
so I don't know. 38 points is 2 points cheaper than 5s, right? 5s is obviously very good. I would argue that he's still probably a little too expensive for what he does, but that's maybe just my opinion. But this is like the command and training thing on this guy pretty much doesn't matter. The training definitely doesn't, I think. You're generally
most clones
not
have 0 training, and they have a training slot if they really want one.
That's what I mean. The command slot is like sort of interesting, but I'm not sure that I want to pay 38 points to put a command slot in my list. It's interesting. It's definitely a unique thing that core don't have. The free attack action, the free action clause on this,
not attack action.
Yeah. So if he's just in like a normal squad, it's 4 black, 2 red for what is like a 95 point unit. 56 plus 38 is
94.
94 for a unit that is significantly less good than the shotgun equivalent.
Yeah, here's the tough part. 5s gives you action efficiency whenever you want. Rex gives you action efficiency sometimes. Because
it's not
like
even
charges action efficiency, right? And so like
it is.
Either Ahsoka or 5s always gives that to you.
The nice thing about this is that like you can trigger it off, like you can move, shoot,
off a
and then
attack.
move. It can be like pseudo mid action steady, so you can like move out from behind a building, shoot, kill something, move back behind a building. The thing is, in order for you to like guarantee, or I shouldn't even use the word guarantee, like make that a thing, you've got to pump points into this unit like nobody's business. Like you probably still have to take the shotgun, right? So you're now looking at like 120 point unit ish. You probably also have to take the super upgrade. We're talking like 170 points, and it's still not a guarantee. If you flub the roll, you just lose your action economy. Or heaven forbid you're shooting into something defensive. Yeah, no, this is really bad. It's I
starting with that one.
I'm glad we started with this and got the bad out of the way. This is unplayable bad. I'm confident in saying that.
Okay, I am going to give a counterpoint because it's my job to try to
temper the Mike Berry.
To try to temper the Mike Berry. That is like it's usually more than half my job, but this time we'll like keep it to half. Here's the thing: there are more upgrades coming out. We have seen the Empire exclusive training already because they released it early because Empire needed some dang help, which is Imperial March.
Sure.
One might assume that there are faction exclusive upgrades of other kinds in the full pack.
Sure.
It is possible that there are either command or training upgrades that would make this a bigger consideration.
I mean, you can take those training upgrades on clones and infantry and marksmen already.
What if it
You don't.
requires 2 training
You,
upgrades?
so you can literally only take it with Rex ever. Yeah, man. You're building a glass house. Is what I'm gonna say. You're like, well, if there are things that are coming in 6 months,
Yeah.
and like I'm,
I mean,
I want this to be good. I'm gonna be honest. Like the fact that it's like core trooper, like if it was like a little less expensive, I might consider putting this guy in like
in an arc.
in an arc.
Yeah.
2 red dice at range 2. I think 38
Or
points
melee.
is or melee, right? Like this card looks like it's built for arcs, except I mean, and arcs would at least like when they move, they also would get an aim. Like that makes the free action like a little bit more interesting, right? Um, but you can't even do that. So I don't know. I mean, like I'm all for them siloing squad leader upgrades into specific unit types so that we can get away from the you can put it in a special forces or you can put it in a core and that makes things weird situation. But yeah, I don't know. This is a 38 point shotgun that doesn't have Pierce, that sometimes lets you take an extra like dodge token or something.
Boy, when you put it that way. All right,
Like
but
I mean that's what it is.
I think that we'll just end by saying we're just hoping that rice gets cheaper in the future, and then because there is a point at which he just becomes worth consideration when he's the right cost. And
I'm not
that's
sure
just
that's
not it
true.
right now.
I'm not.
I
I
think that's
think that
just true
if
of anything, right? Because he's still 2 health, and he gives you a
let me
potential bonus, and he increases your courage by 1, right? So that's something that always could be
let's
helpful.
bag up.
Okay.
Let's assume, because I don't think a squad leader will ever be this cheap that has a profile like this. If you had to decide, like cover up the points on this card. If
Okay.
you had to decide between this or the shotgun, what would you take?
I think I would still take this for the health and the chance at action efficiency. Barely. Because it is 2 health.
Okay, so I would take the shotgun, but I think the point still stands. You're like it maybe hedges it out barely. Do you think this card will ever be 22 points?
No. But hey, stranger things have happened. Sabine went down by 30 when she was not all that bad. Sunfac, yeah, we'll talk about that in the next episode. But
I'm
hey,
glad we're
we should.
getting the ugly out of the way first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to get like, I think that is going to be the only like true thing that we were both sort of sad about for this episode. Don't worry, I'll have more things that I'm sad about when we get to the balance episode. But
Yeah.
for right now, let's move on. We have next. Let's talk about Agent Callus.
Yeah.
So he is Empire Core or Special Forces unit only.
Mm-hmm.
He has 1 health. All the rest of these guys are only 1 health. He also increases the unit courage by 1. And the unit gains demoralize and a heavy slot. I should mention that all the rest of these go in the heavy slot, but 2 of them make it so that you don't like give up the heavy slot by putting them in, is that like they take 1 up and then they add 1. So you can still do Callus and like a T21 or whatever if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But he has an ability which is free action exhaust, and you choose an enemy unit engage with this unit, and that unit gains 2 immobilized tokens straight up. It's
Yep.
pretty good. And then he has a weapon that is sidearm ranged, so he's not going to be able to use the regular E11, but he would weirdly be allowed to use like a stun baton if he's in a riot control squad, or that'll probably
Well,
matter for special forces units
bear in mind that
more.
his bow rifle profile here is also melee. Like, I don't think there's any squad that has a better melee attack than what is on this card.
Right. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird that they say sidearm range, but then they would allow him to use a different melee weapon.
I think
But
yeah, it's just so that you need like an aim token to like for him to shoot alongside stormtroopers or something at range 30
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
It's melee to 2, 1 white, 2 black with a long shot. So if you have a name token, then you can choose to add his dice, which is probably better than spending it on an aim with regular stormtrooper dice most of the time. So what do you think about Callus? Like he's 28. I should have mentioned that. This seems pretty good to me, Mike.
Yeah, I think he might be a little expensive. I don't know.
It seems good on riot control.
I think riot control is probably pretty good. You know, what is that? Like 62 plus Callus is like, I don't know, a 90-point riot control unit. But I think the thing is that it can like lock something in melee with it, which notably this is whipcord with something you're engaged with. That's not a command card effect.
Right.
So
The
like
piling goes on.
you can like lock down an Anakin or something in melee with you, which seems strong.
That seems good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
he would have to burst to, or no, you would lock him down because with one immobilized token you can't withdraw ever.
Right.
Does he get disengaged in his 1-pip Anakin? No, he
No.
doesn't, right?
No, he'd have to
Okay.
like force push you away and
Yeah, he could
burst
force push
and
you for
you
sure.
know. So
But this seems good. Trent actually asked an interesting question because I'm not sure if this has been really covered like this. But if you tap the card for the immobilized, does that take away the ability to use the weapon?
no.
I think that you're right. I can't speak enough to. I think it's because the exhaust icon is not on the top right of the card. Because you think of like the B2 Ha, you can't use that if it's exhausted, and that is also a heavy weapon. But I think it's technically because that exhaust icon is on the top right, which means that the whole card needs to be exhausted to be used, whereas this is just for an ability.
I don't know. That
Uh,
might be like a forum question.
yeah,
I
I
want to
think it's
say
kind
that
of.
does not seem to be the intent of this card, but I could
I
be
don't think it's the
wrong.
intent, so I think that would just need to be clarified. Okay, we're gonna save the best for last year. We're gonna talk about Kraken next. So this is Separatist core droid trooper only, and this also duplicates your heavy slot. I guess all of the non-clone ones duplicate the heavy slot.
Yeah, they're basically
And
they're like the strike and fade. Like you get a
yeah,
slot, but not really. You know, just worded
it makes it a
differently.
pseudo squad leader
Yeah,
upgrade, basically.
which is great.
Which is totally fine. It's a handy way to make it work. So the unit loses AI. We'll talk about that in a second. When this unit attacks, it may upgrade one attack die for each miniature from this unit that was previously defeated.
Yeah,
So this is sort of like that Ewok 2-pip, I think, where you have like the Revenge of the Ghost Ewoks for a unit that like add attack dice back. And so the first place the one's mind might go to with this would be a B1 super, where if you've taken 4 wounds and then you're shooting like with an E5S, and then you also have this guy. At that point, it's what, like a 90-point unit ish.
no, it's over 100 at that point, right? With the
Really?
super. Well, I mean
Oh, with the super, you're right.
yeah,
So it's like 100 something. Um, And then, so in theory, that would make it so that your B1 unit is shooting like 1 red, 1 white, and like 5 black or something like that.
after it loses like
But
5
it
guys.
doesn't
Yeah,
it doesn't seem worth it to
not
me. I mean,
for 30 points. I don't think. I think you just like for the cost of this miniature, you can just take another squad. You know, like pretty
right,
much.
right. I mean, so he's only B1s and B2s, and I think that the other thing that people were looking at is, okay, could you put him into a B2 super? That would make that unit insanely expensive if it was a B2 super with a heavy weapon.
Yeah.
Like that's a 200-point unit, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Uh,
he's only got 1 health. Like he doesn't even have like bonuses for getting put into a B2
right.
unit. I don't know.
And also with the B2 super, you have fewer minis, which means that like your window, your like sweet spot in the middle where you still have enough guys left because like it stops getting good when you run out of dice to upgrade,
Yeah,
um, because you've lost so many minis. And so like yeah, with a B2 Super, it would almost be like you're changing one of the B2s to be like another ACN at a certain point, and like that sounds like it could be pretty good, but for 30 points, I don't know. It's possible that it just like I mean, what it does is that it makes attrition less meaningful for the unit,
yeah.
right? I mean, because it makes your dice better as guys die, but I'm just not positive that's worth 30.
I agree. I also this has like a weird text interaction with repair. Um like if you
Ha!
kill a miniature and then you put it back, it's still
Was it previously
previously
defeated?
defeated, right?
Yeah. Huh.
And then if you remove that miniature again, like is it count as two miniatures that are previously defeated or only once? But you have to remove a different miniature because this one count, I don't know. It's
Time for another forum ruling.
yeah. It's a this is gonna probably come up again, but just like a weird templating thing that seems unclear. Rules is written. Probably
Yeah, yeah.
that's more of a cute question than a question that's gonna matter, I
Yeah,
think.
I think that's even cuter than the other questions that's going to come up when we talk about battle cards in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's probably going to be like the way that you imagine it, where it's just like how many guys are you missing, and you upgrade that many dice. So I mean, we'll see. There would be a certain point with this guy. I think there's an easier argument to make that if he gets a little bit cheaper, then it becomes much more of a consideration.
Yeah, I think, you know, like all squad leader-esque upgrades, these guys are just like a little too expensive. You know?
Kind of feels that way. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me make my fun point about AI. Mike, do
Oh,
you agree or disagree that AI is a bonus rather than something that should be
this is
shed?
definitely a drawback. It's like doesn't work with tactical download. You can't like
You
direct
can't
to it in
direct to
certain
it.
situations. Like, yeah, no.
You can't slice comms it anymore, or you can't limiter override. You can't overclock it anymore. AI is straight up a bonus now. Like
Yes. 100%.
uh, the Techno Force has influenced the game to the point that AI is truly just when Kalani and Kraken first came out, and that this was in the old AI rules, we were like, that's interesting. It's almost like it's making AI a good thing to have, and from a certain point of view. And now it's just like straight up AI is
It's like,
awesome.
could you please put AI on my Grievous? Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Could I have AI on my Grievous wheel bike? Could I have like maybe could I have my generic super tack have AI? That would be nice. Um, anyway, so yeah, like when your upgrade has a literal drawback like that, it does make it a little bit tough. So Cassian Andor, Mike, I think
I want to
I'm not
start
even ready
by
for the things that you're going to say about this.
this guy is the cheapest one here.
He is the
And
cheapest one here. He's 25 points.
he probably should be the most expensive by like a lot.
Yes. So let's say what he does. He's a heavy that gives you another heavy slot, and he also increases your courage by one. For Rebel Core unit only. So he has two sides, Mike. The front side is that when one or more miniatures in this unit are defeated, you may flip this card. This card starts the game with this side face up. So that's basically telling you how you're allowed to flip it. Is that if as soon as a mini dies, you can flip it if you want to. And then on this side, he has a range 1 to 3 sniper config A280, which also has long shot, and it's just 2 black dice with no other keywords. So it would allow him to pal around with like a DLT to do a range 4 shot if he truly wanted to.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting. Probably
yeah,
not great for that configuration, but fine.
sure. And then for a regular range 3 shot, he adds 2 dice instead of the one for the Rebel Trooper. And let's just be honest, Mike, he's going on Rebel Troopers, right? Let me say the other things that he gains. He gains low profile, which veterans already have, by the way, and he gains this other thing, secret mission. Secret mission, Mike.
I think this is cool. I think that it is unique. I don't really think that this is why he's gonna be busted, but is just like, to me, this is just like a tack on bonus of like flexibility and
Interesting, because I think that you're often gonna want to try to at least feint at doing secret mission with him.
sure. Maybe, I don't know. We can talk about it once we get through everything.
And
I think
so
that this guy's got one mode, and it'll be interesting if we think the modes are different.
yeah, okay, got it. Well, let's talk about the other side of the card.
Yep.
So the other side is that this unit changes its courage to nil,
Yeah.
nothing, or everything, you might say, infinite courage. And it gains Uncanny Luck 1. And once per turn, when this unit forms an attack pool, add one white attack die to the attack pool for each miniature from this unit that was previously defeated, which is fair to say is strictly better than what Kraken does, right?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. Not close.
And then his gun is now, he's in Black Ops mode. It's melee to 2 with 2 red dice and no other keywords, so he gets a little bit more pistol-y, which fits with his commander theme also. I'll save the glowy stuff for the end because I do have some glowy things to say about this card. But Mike, you're basically thinking that in most games you would flip it as soon as you get the chance to.
Yeah.
And
mainly because you might not ever get the chance to again.
Fair. Do you think that this makes the Rebel Trooper Super Squad, which also did go down by 5, I think?
Okay.
We're
thinking about this differently. I can tell by the way you're buying.
Okay.
Let me paint you a picture with numbers.
Pin it on me. Like, what are you thinking about this at?
Okay. So, Fleet Trooper. Okay.
Okay.
This unit now has charge. Let's put it in a super. Let's also give it a shotgun. Okay. This unit is 18 white, 4 red, pierce 1 at range 2 to melee. As long as it I guess it's got to take a wound. So, and then you flip 17 white, 4 red. Right. It worst. So let's talk about. So that unit is about 120 points. I actually just keyed this.
That's only 120.
Sorry, it's 120. It's 127.
Okay, never mind.
It's 127, and the worst case situation in which you lose every model in the unit other than Cassian and the shotgun leaves you with a 4 red, 9 white, pierce 1 pool, which statistically does the same amount of hits, not including pierce, than an full ARC trooper with double aims does on the charge.
Okay.
And then you add pierce.
And he's infinite courage.
And he's got low profile and stuff on the front side and secret mission, which is nice because you're just gonna want to run your fleet trooper at him. And then the nice thing is if they don't shoot him, you can score a secret mission. And if they do shoot him, it's just making your unit that it's like a unit that takes casualties and just continues to do absurd amounts of damage.
Actually, that sounds like, when you put it that way, Mike. So I'm glad that you had time to think about all this, because I feel like I've barely had a chance to digest a lot of this new stuff because of the tournament. But that sounds like an auto include in Rebels.
It might not even be close. I don't know what that unit should cost.
Everybody.
Yeah. He's bringing a lot. I think that it actually might play out even better than that on the table, because I think it poses a really weird question to your opponent of should I even shoot this unit? Because not only you've got to shoot through low profile, and then once you do and he flips it, you've got to kill 9 guys. You've got to kill it to dead in order for it to not be basically a unit that is running around the board one-shotting things. I don't know.
Normally, you would be okay, I'll just panic it.
Right, and you flip it
enough, then I'll get something out of it.
And the backside even has Uncanny Luck 1. Not that that's like crazy good, but it's like not
It'll
nothing.
slow down the death.
Yeah, it's like when
Yeah,
you're
by a little bit.
rolling, yeah, Uncanny Look is a good keyword, so I don't know. I mean, the fact that this upgrade is 25 points and Rex is 38, like I don't know. I don't know. This is an absurd card. This is gonna get
Uh,
nerfed.
to so to summarize, uh we have four characters where one is really good, Cassian. One is pretty good, Callus. One is sort of okay, Kraken, and then one is we think pretty bad, Rex. So
Yeah,
we ran the whole spectrum with only four characters, so that's nice.
it is. It is. I think Cassian's really cool. I think a design space is awesome.
So yeah,
Um, yeah, go for it.
let me say the glowy thing is that the cast this upgrade feels extremely thematic,
Yes.
because the front end is TV show Cassian,
Hmm.
and then the back end is Rogue One Cassian,
Yeah.
who is about to die and is just like making a last stand, and that's awesome. It's really thematic, and it feels appropriate. It makes Cassian sort of feel like, because I think the current version we have, it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't evoke the TV show all that much, and in a weird way, I feel like this one does a little bit more.
Yeah.
We might get other versions in the future, but very cool. Probably overpowered, almost certainly overpowered.
I mean, you slam recon intel on this guy. Take the Dauntless commander. Also take the reinforcements commander, and just slam this guy in their face. Move 4 times on round 1.
Seems pretty good.
Maybe No Time for Sorrows too. I don't know. As like a follow up. I don't know. Yeah. This guy is gonna be a menace. For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely will be a defining thing in Rebel lists. I think like, do you think that unit is better than like Rebel Bad Batch from like how much damage and stuff it does, and like
No,
obviously this is gonna be hot takey, but like um no, I think it might be.
I'd say no, because the difference between steady and charge is an enormous one.
This unit
Uh,
doesn't actually need to charge you
it,
though.
it,
It
it can
just
it can shoot at range 2 with all the rest of the dice. That's
yeah.
that's true. And despite all the stuff we just talked about, it still definitely takes way longer to kill Bad Batch than it does to kill this.
Yeah, that's probably
I
true.
mean, especially if you have any Pierce on your side, like a lightsaber, Anakin can one shot this, right?
No.
Like with very little effort.
Anakin actually cannot one shot this in most circumstances.
Oh, unless he has tenacity turned on, I guess he couldn't do it.
Yeah. Tenacity, and
Uh,
he'd have to not miss a single die.
because it has 11 health or 12 health.
It's got 12. Right? Is it
It's
12?
it's it's 11 because it's base 9 for the super, and then a heavy, and then Cassian is one more, so it's 11.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
So I mean, so you can miss one red die if he has tenacity turned on. But you're right, like that's a lot of ifs. Uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so and like
And if you
even yeah.
if you don't, you're getting smacked. Because
Yeah, you're getting
you've
with all
killed
those
5
dice.
guys, and there's like 7 of them left, plus the 5 that are dead are still adding their dice back to the pool.
Yeah.
Like, don't miss.
And then I will say that like a big charge attack on the front end that has low profile, you could do a lot of damage on the front end, with like an arc or you know, a Grievous Wheelback would be able to take care of this relatively quickly also, I think. So especially because he could scatter the super squad and do some silly things with it. But
I bet you it's entirely possible that like um I'm not sure that's true. 2 attacks from Grievous probably kills
it's probably
7
7 minis. But then
7 minis.
it wouldn't. You would need 3 attacks from Grievous to finish it off.
Right.
And the Jedi Arts doesn't count for that, so you would need 2 turns to do it. That's true.
Right, which means they might get 2 turns to kill your Grievous, which
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy when you compare the longevity ability of this compared to Kraken, and it's like not close. And Kraken's more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
Feels wild.
we don't need to harp on it, but this guy is the best squad leader in the game.
Yeah, I think that's accurate right now. Let's talk about some other faction specific stuff. So we got, like I said, we got a drip of battle cards. We got one faction specific battle advantage for each faction. Sorry, Shoutout Collective, you're not a faction. And then we also got one primary and one secondary. So let's talk about the advantages first. We'll continue on the rebel theme. So this one is that at the start of an allied unit's activation, if you have one or more advantage tokens in your pass pool, you may spend one of those advantage tokens. If you do, the activating unit gains one aim token and one dodge token, or it makes a free recover action. Did the rebels also get the best advantage, Mike?
Um
Or
so
maybe Empire did.
I think the rebels got the best advantage if you can turn it on with consistency, I think is what I would say. I think my issue with No Time to Lose is that generally rebels, at least at the start of the game, are generally like parity activation counts or even more than you, right?
Right.
So a lot of times they don't have pass tokens. Obviously, Battlefield Reconnaissance, the new, I think it's the Operative 2-pip, turns this on.
You can generate your own. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you're taking Battlefield Reconnaissance, this is okay. I think that
that makes sense.
I think what this might turn on is like some interesting low act rebel lists that have like Ahsoka and Commander Luke, and like you can put like force push on them and just like get Master of the Force for free, basically, with this card. The issue is that if you don't get this advantage, you're like, oh, I took a bunch of things with force push that don't have free recovers, you know?
Sure. There's other things like Sabine's whipcord, you know, that you could like do a nice free recover with that. Like if in a world where you are running an FD cannon, maybe that you could have a generator that you're recovering. And then tokens are always good.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where rebels are like, you know what, we're gonna give up having an activation advantage for some, like, you know, a couple aims or dodges and free recover here and there. You know, and perhaps the biggest thing is that you have to decide that in list building to be like, you know what, I'm gonna have like 9 activation rebels, and then like sometimes you might not get this, and then like your list concept kindly, I think it's like a weird. I think some of the advantages, particularly the new ones, are in this like weird realm of like you kind of want to build your list around it, but
yeah, your
opponent can just veto it, and then so you kind of can't build your list around it.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I do think like you said is that if you were thinking of taking Battlefield Recon anyway, then this becomes really good. Because like if you're using that on round 4, then you're just like handing out a bunch of free tokens at the very least. And so that feels like it would be worth it if you were taking that command card anyway.
Well, I think I'd like to pose the question.
Sure.
And the answer to this is probably yes sometimes. But like, is like, you know, a turn 2 Battlefield Reconnaissance or whatever, like, is this effect better than just passing at the start of the turn a couple times?
Well, I'm not thinking about turn 2. I would think about like waiting until later to activate Battlefield Reconnaissance when you get more advantage tokens. You're forgetting about the whole passing thing at that point. And you would just be using it for this card. And then if you don't get this advantage, then you would be probably running it on round 2 instead, for like the normal pass token effect. So it gives you some like leeway in either direction for that. That's sort of the way I was thinking about it.
Yeah. Some things have to align for this card to be good, I think.
Yeah.
I do think it's yeah, go for it.
I mean, I like it.
I love that you can use your pass tokens to do something else. I think that's a great design space.
Yeah. I think so too. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to the Empire one. Black Ops. Empire only. At the start of the activation phase, choose an allied core or special forces trooper unit with 6 or fewer miniatures. So that's shaking your head to super squads out there. If the chosen unit has infiltrate, it gains one aim token and one dodge token. So that's if it has infiltrate already, such as like ISF. But if the chosen unit does not have infiltrate, it gains infiltrate. Infiltrate is one of the best keywords in the game, Mike.
Hmm.
Just like straight up. And so, and I think that there were already Empire lists that would think about running Garrison anyway, specifically because they had Riot Control Squad in them.
Sure.
And so this is even better than Garrison because it means that if you're waiting to activate them, then they're not actually vulnerable until you do that, and then you can go hide somewhere much farther up the field than you would have been able to if you had to hide your prepare positions in a secure spot at the beginning of the game. So I feel like most Empire lists would probably take this. Do you disagree?
I think probably. Yeah, I think putting on a core unit is like sort of interesting. I don't know how good that actually is. Like maybe putting it on like a riot. The thing is, riot control probably still doesn't make melee with this on turn one. So you kind of have to still find a good spot to hide them that's like pretty forward.
Yeah,
I think what interests me here is like seems really good on Death Troopers.
yeah.
Um,
That it there's a situation where I mean, like, do you think that there's realistically a situation where it would be able to do a blast shot on round one because of this?
yeah, particularly if you tax strike.
If you attack strike, then absolutely, for sure. And so,
Like that pool is like actually probably pretty scary. And if it's like the last thing you like, Empire lists can like bump their cost up enough that like you might even be able to get last with a Death Trooper while playing tax strike against a lot of things. And just like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
that would be a big. If you had all the tax strike games with a range 2 shot from the Death Troopers with blast and the pistols out, that would be a huge dice pool. I mean, so it's what like you would have the it could be one red and then 6 more white and black,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then the heavy, I guess. So it'd be like 11. Maybe it's not as
Yeah.
big as I thought it would be,
11 with
but it would
2
be
aims that reroll 4
with 2
dice,
aims
you
and
know?
blast. So it would be like 11 dice to the face almost no matter what.
Yeah, it's probably
Um,
somewhere in the 8 to 10 range, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So
which
yeah, I mean, this card is basically like I mean, it's straight up just a better Garrison, right? If you were going to include Garrison anyway, this is just better every time.
I think so. I think there might be like a couple of unique situations where Garrison would be
Maybe a dug-in
better.
short trooper unit would prefer
Yeah,
Garrison, or
yeah.
they already have prepared positions though, so like it wouldn't even matter. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's better than the
I
dodge you would
agree
get.
generally. I think you can probably find like some very specific circumstances
Sure.
where the Garrison is better, but I do think like 95% of the time black. If you're going to take Garrison Black Ops, just put it in your deck instead, or take both. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. That way you just like if you have Rad Control Squad, you can be like, I'll take Black Ops and Garrison, and that's going to give me a better chance to especially like you're thinking about a Rad Control with Callus in it,
Yeah.
because that's the one that you really want to be able to get in there and start immobilizing dudes. That would be a pretty strong choice for it. What's funny is that if you uh, if you ran the Riot Control Squad with Callus, it would mean that if you ran the KX, it would be 7 minis.
Yes.
And then you wouldn't be able to play it with this card. Too bad. Um,
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
yeah, it would be one over.
Yeah.
Uh, sucks. Okay, so next, let's talk about the droid one, Command Override. Uh, this is Separatists only. During setup phase, you place 2 advantage tokens on this card. And then it says during the issue order step of the command phase, you may remove one of the advantage tokens on this card. If you do, choose an allied unit with the AI keyword. The chosen unit issues an order to itself. So when I first read this card, I thought that my interpretation was that this was like a round 1 thing only.
Yeah.
But with this one, I feel actually decently confident that you could use these advantage tokens whenever you wanted as the game went on.
Yeah, this is any turn. This is
And
100%.
so that does make this card really good, I think.
I don't know. I mean, look, I don't play a lot of CIS, but like, is order control an issue you have? I don't know.
Or
Like,
not in my busted list, but in there's a lot of CIS lists where you don't like a lot of CIS lists don't even have any direct or they only have coordinate. Most lists will only have coordinate on the B1s, and like currently you see a lot of double aqua lists that have no LTAs. And what that means is that they're not counting on their aquas having face-ups every single round the way that I am.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
and so there are situations where in lists that aren't chock full of direct where you would love to be able to have control over a vehicle, especially.
So
Um, or sometimes a special forces unit like a BX or maybe a Magna if you don't have Grievous, and that this would enable that at like choice moments throughout the game. And so I think that is pretty worth it from that perspective.
that's fair. I guess with BXs and Magnas, it might be good. I'm trying to think like you taking your Aqua example, for instance, like I don't think having this in your advantage deck is worth like spending 5 points on an additional LTA that you might not ever trigger.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. But there's reasons other than LTA to want to have order control, such
Well,
as this
clearly,
unit is
yeah, yeah,
about to die, and I want
sure.
to do whatever. And so it allows you to pick and choose what those moments are as the game goes on. And so like that flexibility it seems like it's pretty decently strong to me.
Yeah, I guess I just like look at separatist lists and assume that they've got like, you know, they don't need an advantage to engineer that effect generally.
I'll say this is that one of the changes I didn't mention was that I changed an HQ uplink to an LTA on one of my steps, and
Mm-hmm.
having this card in my deck makes that argument easier to make. That because really that HQ is just a backup for if my direct hit chain gets screwed up, um, and this card would make it less necessary for me to do that. So that would be nice.
Yep.
And I can probably drop ordnance because half the time I'm putting myself in danger with ordnance anyway. When you have 6 vehicles in your list. So coordinated strike is the last one, Mike. This is Republic only. During the setup phase, place one advantage token on this card. During the issue of orders step of the command phase, that's the same phraseology of the last one. You may remove one advantage token from this card. If you do, choose up to 2 Allied Republic units. Each unit gains either coordinate clone trooper or coordinate vehicle. So this one is I'll say up front that there is this open question about whether this gives permanent effects. I have it on good authority that I think that's the most I'll say right now, that we're pretty sure that's not what the intent was, and that it is being posed to devs as we speak because we've already, this is barely over an hour ago at this point, but we've already like raised some questions in the rules forum about this. So I'm gonna assume that this is not a permanent effect and that this is just for one turn. You get to dole out these coordinate to whatever to 2 units. This kind of feels like a little bit of a worse version of command override, right?
I mean, yeah, I am having a hard time if this is not a all game effect. I'm having a hard time wanting to like. I would definitely take ordnance over this card. Like orders now that aggressive tactics is gone is not something I really care about in my Republic lists for the most part. Like, I don't know. Like
In a
I
vehicle
think
heavy list, I might see it.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that if you're in a vehicle heavy list, you're probably taking Cody already, and a lot of times I play Cody's command cards, and I have too many orders. Um, I'm being
Fair.
serious.
No, yeah, like
Yeah,
Cody's 3-pip, you often are missing a vehicle
yeah. I'm
to
like,
actually be able to order with that.
I mean, I think that could maybe change in a specific circumstance we'll talk about
Sure.
later. But I don't know. This feels very to me. If it's all game, I think that's a different story.
Yeah, but
Because like
then
all of a
that
sudden
feels
you're
like it would be stronger than most advantage cards are.
I don't know about that.
I mean, it would sort of give you 2 free orders per round for the whole game if it did that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, definitely good.
That'd be really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, but I definitely think that this, if it's like a 1-turn thing, I think that this is like, eh.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's space for face-ups on clones to matter again. It's ironic that one of the only ways that I can think of where it does matter is the fire support keyword as it exists right now, which is a for fun thing with clones instead of being like
I
what
think
fire support used to be.
the thing that this
Um,
does is allows you to play standing orders and give all your commandos target.
yeah. So commandos have target 1 at baseline, so that is a thing. And there's defend 1 with the clone captain, but again, you wouldn't want to structure your list around being able to do that.
Right. That's the issue is that, like,
So
if you're gonna build your list around this effect, like basically just allowing your opponent to veto it and like ripping out the guts of what you've built just seems kind of bad. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, you should never
Um,
build a list around a single advantage.
yeah.
But it's
Um,
more that you should choose your advantages based on like what will actually help your list.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that none of these are. It's safe to say that none of these are like insane. None of these are. None of these feel like they're at the power level that advanced intel usually
I'm not.
is.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
I said usually is.
Okay.
So where do you disagree with it?
I think Infiltrate, the Black Ops, and No Time to Lose have the potential to be significantly stronger than Advanced Intel by like potentially like a pretty large margin.
Well, it does depend on the list, right? Because there's some lists where they're intentionally so low activation that advanced intel doesn't help you all that much, or there's so high activation that advanced intel doesn't really like help you all that much. And so
I guess what I'm trying to say is I think both of these cards in the right circumstances are better than the best case Advanced Intel.
yeah, I mean it's possible. Like again, if the list is built in such a way that it could potentially take advantage of it. Um, I mean, yeah, there
I
is
think
a
it's
scenario where No
more
Time to
likely.
Lose gives you, 10 free tokens, right?
And there's a situation where you have like multiple like Master of the Force Jedi that rebels just don't have access to,
Sure.
which
Yeah,
seems
that's fair.
like converting, like if No Time to Lose said in a properly constructed list, give every rebel Jedi Master of the Force once, like like that's probably better than Advanced Intel, right?
Probably. Yeah, but again, that goes to the list construction question,
It
right?
it
And
it, it does 100%, and that's the issue,
yeah.
right?
So
I do think generically the Imperial one is definitely I think the Imperial
that's
one
the
is the
I think
strongest.
that's the strongest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do
Because
think that like if I had to decide between giving my opponent Black Ops or Advanced Intel, I'd give them Advanced Intel in most situations.
yeah, I could definitely see that. And especially if they had like a T-21 Super with a specialist in it, and then all of a sudden that's going to be a round 1 attack on you when it normally
You
would
you
have.
can't Black Ops that because it's got more than 6
Oh
guys.
yeah, you're sorry. You can't Black Ops that, but I guess. But a regular T-21 with a specialist, that's still a decent attack that you would be giving your opponent free access to, that they normally wouldn't have if it was just trying to do a moose shoot out of the board. So yeah, I mean, I would probably rather have advanced intel than to give my opponent an opportunity to get that attack on me sort of for free.
I mean, even
Um,
like in an Imperial March Snowtrooper, right? Like,
yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, like that's the other thing is that it's a little bit risky to have a non-super snow flamer. But if a snow flamer with Imperial March was going out there, then it actually might be able to flame you on round
and
1.
I think I would have to go check some rules text, but I think the way that Ruthless triggers is that it would like
If Gideon was there,
if Gideon
he
is
he
off the
could.
board, right? You can Ruthless infiltrate and triple move flame something, right? Because
Uh,
I think Ruthless is going to check before you drop it for infiltrate. I think. Could be wrong about that.
let's double check that. I'm pulling up Ruthless right now. So Ruthless is
I think
it's
it's
when
got
it
more to
activates.
do with the infiltrate timing than Ruthless timing.
I
Like
think I think that the
Ruthless is
problem is they would have to move when it's not on the board, and that would mean it deploys instead of infiltrating. I think that would be the problem. So
is
weirdly, I think
I don't think is Ruthless immediate.
it's when it activates, it may suffer one wound to perform one free action. So it's sort of like compel.
Okay, so maybe this is a no time for sorrow or the new ways to motivate the mangle. Then I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. With
yeah.
new ways, with
In
new
my
ways
head,
on,
Ruthless and New
yeah,
Ways are basically the same, but the timing is different.
yeah. Ruthless is
Um,
like compel timing.
yeah, okay,
So it's yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that, but you could new ways to
yeah,
triple move a flamer in a weird situation. So I guess maybe in Blizzard Force, like if you have new ways anyway, and if you pull this advantage, then all of a sudden you can just like rocket a flamer towards your enemy's face, which
Goodbye,
could be fun.
Geonosians.
That's right. Okay, so let's talk about the other new battle cards. So we have I want to talk about the secondary first.
Sure.
Supply run. So setup starting with blue player, each player places 2 supply caches, which are assets in contested territory, not within range 2 of each edge and not within range 1 of another supply cache. So this is sort of reminiscent of recover the supplies in a lot of ways. There's 4 instead of 5. But scoring, starting the second round at the start of each unit's activation, if you're contesting a POI and holding a supply cache, then the controlling player may choose to um, remove the supply cache from the game. And again, this has to be at the start of the activation. So you have to start the round contesting the POI with the supply in hand. That you can remove it from the game, and if you do, you score 1 VP. But if you do this in the 4th or 5th round, then each supply is worth 2 VP when you take that score. And again, when you do that, it removes that from the game, so each supply can only be scored once, which means that theoretically, that a total of 8 VP can be scored from the secondary, which I think puts it on par with Bring Them to Heal as far as like the total amount that one player could potentially get in a single game. Or it ties it with Destroy Enemy Base also. And that is potentially a lot, but it's probably usually not going to be that much. Now, here's the kicker, Mike. Here's the part that really matters for this, in my opinion. Each trooper unit gains full action claim to claim a supply, and each unit can only hold 1 at a time. So this is the first battle card. This is the first objective card, I should say, that cares whether or not something is a trooper rather than a vehicle. Now, you
Yeah.
might say that there are already battle cards that have respective vehicles more because they can't be panicked, right? So like supply
Yeah.
drop is super good on something like an Aqua Droid where you can never panic it away and it takes a long time to kill. And so I think that this might be reflecting a recognition of that, Mike. Or I mean, like, how do you feel about this generally?
I think they were just trying to create recover the supplies. That's what I think. I'm not sure that it was like intentionally being like screw you vehicles. I think it was just like this is how recover the supplies worked before, so this is how we're going to make it work again.
That's
Um,
fair.
I think. I agree that
I
it
think this is
makes
something we're going to ask the Wills about because they did talk
yeah
about how they wanted vehicles to be able to participate in objectives. And
yes
this is one where they can only participate by killing enemy cache holders.
yes. Well, they can also panic them, right? Like
Right, killing or panicking them. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, which is relevant because vehicles often have ways to put out multiple suppression tokens a turn, whether it's on the same
Sure.
unit or multiple units or whatever, right?
Right, right.
Um, yeah, this secondary seems potentially tough, I think.
Hmm.
Um, I think it also is likely to be the lowest scoring secondary in the game.
It takes a lot to score, and
Well, and you're probably realistically you're probably only scoring 2.
Right. Well, if you're scoring more than 2, you've won the game anyway.
Right. That's sort of the thing, you know. So like,
Because that means you're in the enemy's grill and you've killed or panicked their units like in their home base.
yeah,
If they were like waiting to score it or on their way back to try to score it.
yeah,
Like
because there's
if you're doing that well, then you're probably winning the game anyway.
yeah, I don't know. Um, it. So I do think that this is a secondary that like slows down. Like this game will probably go to turn 5 as long as there's enough time in the game because you're not going to be scoring as much off secondaries.
Unlike recon mission or surface scan, where sort of the default is to like score a point every
Yep.
round.
Yeah.
The default of this, is gonna not be that obviously because it's only one per token. But I think that realistically, let's see, not within each. I mean,
You basically you just put
I
one token next to each of your home POIs basically, and you go grab it when you can test it.
so yeah, I guess the question would be like by default, what do you think you would do? Would you just try to score these as soon as humanly possible, or would you try to hang out and wait?
I think hanging on to them is risky. I think you can definitely try. Um, but I don't know. Like, for instance, let's think about a situation where like generally your home POIs are safe. You know, turn 2, sometimes turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
But like once we're talking about like this, the turns of the game where you're getting double points, those are the turns where your opponents probably push your home POI,
Yeah.
right? So all of a sudden, I'm not sure like how reasonable it is to. I don't know. I think you're obviously going to have to play it by ear each game. Um, but the fact that you can just like panic whoever has one of these is like and have them drop it is, whew, that's tough.
That's
That's
fair.
tough.
I will say that range 2 for like an objective token, and then you can claim it from half range away. It's not that far away from your board edge.
No, that's yeah.
And so Brian and Trent and I were talking a little bit about like what units would. I mean, the units that we think about first are those that would have access to infinite courage.
Yes.
So like uh, any Commander Vader list, and then also Dark Troopers and Delta Squad and uh,
Say it.
Cassian.
Cassian. Yeah,
Yeah,
there it is.
would all be options to do this that where they can't
Probably
be panicked off of dropping it.
Chewbacca,
What's that?
probably. Chewie, probably.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so there would be some options. I think that I'm eager to try this in a list that's different from the current one that I'm running because I definitely don't want to run this in my like 6 vehicle list.
I don't
It
know.
is also true.
I'm not sure that that's. I actually think your list might be pretty good at it. I don't think
You think
that like
so?
yeah, there's only 2 boxes, right?
Sure.
And honestly, like your list has an advantage that a lot of lists don't, which is Sunfac picks up my box, Aquadroids sit in front of him, and you can never shoot him. Like the turn that you like need this to work, you're like, okay, Sunfac picks it up. Maybe he goes and hides somewhere for a couple turns. Maybe not Sunfac because you'll lose the jump, right? But like your super tac picks it up, and you know he's generally probably going to be sitting around your home POI anyways. And then you
He's
just
naturally courage 3.
right, he's naturally courage 3, and then um midway through turn 3, you're like set up an Aquadroid screen around the POI and where you want to claim it so that at the top of 4 he's still alive because they can't shoot him because of the Aquas, and you just score 2, right?
And then Grievous is diving there supply cash to try to
Yeah.
make them drop players.
Right. And you're putting pressure on their home POIs where their supply drops will be early, which is going to
Right.
be big.
Mike, I think you're right. I think I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'll take this to Portland and see how it turns out if anybody lets me have it. I will say that I'm currently running Surface Scan, and that's we talked last time about how that's sort of just like it feels fine, but
Yeah.
that didn't feel like a real advantage. Where my other two are destroying enemy base, which is huge with Grievous because he's allowed to triple move with it. I forgot to
Yeah.
mention that. That speeders are not, but mobile is, which is kind of crazy.
That'll probably change.
It might, but yeah, as the rules are, that is the way that it is. And then sweep and clear is my last one, which is really good for any speeder list or a Grievous list that's going to be in the enemy zone. So that if this is actually a real advantage, like you say, then that would mean that my battle card deck becomes more punishing, which is nice. That's what
I
you like.
suspect this is probably better than Surface Scan in your list.
I think you might be right.
It's like
Yeah.
Surface Scan, but without a lot of the risk.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that. Cool. Well, yes, I like it a lot though. Just generally, I think that it's an interesting objective. And then there's outflank. We'll for this we're just gonna show the picture because the deployment zone is a huge aspect to how this works.
Yeah.
This one is maybe I don't know. This one's pretty wild in terms of how it works. So I don't know why they called out these POIs as flags instead of just being POIs on this, but in any case, you place four POIs that are like there's four POIs, and you can see them when you're looking at the image on YouTube, and then each player starting with blue nominates three non-commander units that are not being transported, so a couple of stipulations there, and then they get what's called a Vanguard token. And for if you're listening on the podcast, there's basically in the middle, there's just like a central deployment zone, and then on the sides, there's a side deployment zone that goes or it goes 2/3 of the way up on each side in a thin sliver. And those three Vanguard units have to deploy from the side zone. But then the way that this matters is that when you're scoring at the end phase, you do straight up score 1 VP for any flag you secure, and there's no like home flags and away flags. It's just that there's basically one that is range 1 away from each deployment zone. And if a player if you control two or more units with Vanguard tokens that are contesting that VP, then that VP is worth double. And so that means and then there's a special rule, which is that you can't deploy from the long edge if you have this token, because there's like a little sliver that goes along the long edge. You have to deploy from the short edge, and that if it says unless they're deployed using the transport keyword, you have to deploy from this portion of a player's territory. So like you have to go from the short edge is basically what it's saying if you have a Vanguard token. And so what this functionally means is that this Vanguard token is sort of like the Intel token in intercept transmissions, just in the sense of it's not an asset; it's just like a marker.
Yes.
It's just like marking a unit. But unlike intercept transmissions, there's no way to generate new Vanguard tokens.
Yeah, once they
Like
die, they're dead. Like once you
they die, they're
lose
dead.
two Vanguard units, you can't.
You aren't
score
scoring
the
anything extra.
VP. Yeah.
And also because it requires two or more, and you have only a total of three, you can only be scoring double on one POI per round at the most.
You even if you could have four Vanguards, it's it would still only be one.
It would only trigger once. Yeah. But you can only trigger so like maximum you can score if you controlled all the points and had two Vanguards on one of them, you would score 5 VPs the game would probably be very over if that was what was going on. But um, this one, I I still don't know what to make of it, Mike. What do you make of it? I'm curious.
I'm um less sure of how this one is going to play out than I am of like I think supply run's like pretty cut and dry as to like how you should play that. Outflank is a little bit unclear to me. The Vanguard thing is interesting. I think it's pretty clear that fast movers as Vanguards is at least good in the early stages of the game. One of the things with fast movers, most fast movers, is that they're pretty easy to kill if you get a hold of them, though, which means that you could lose your ability to score the extra point every turn, which would be a big deal.
Yep.
You know, I think like obviously like, pretty good Vanguard might be something that looks like, Bad Batch, 5 Super Squad, like those units seem like they might be really good at this objective. The other thing is that the Vanguard units can probably shoot things in your opponent's deployment zone, unless they didn't commit to in a like one side of the battlefield at all. Which is quite interesting. Like Sleeper Cell is going to be able to shoot into your opponent's deployment zone turn one, which is something that Sleeper Cell is not normally able to do on most objectives.
Yeah, let's breakthrough.
And even on breakthrough, you can't get that far, right? In this, you're gonna be able to shoot like a pretty decent ways into their deployment zone. Do you want to give your Sleeper Cell a Vanguard token? I don't know. They're probably gonna die. I don't know. It's called Outflank for a reason. I think that this objective probably in the short term will be very volatile. It is worth noting that the way that this card is worded, that assuming that you have 3 units in your army with transport, which I think is possible now, you can have 6 units deploy out of the Vanguard zone. Because you deploy the 3 transports and then you deploy the things in them out of the transports. And they will be in the Vanguard zone deployed. They don't have Vanguard tokens, but they will.
Right.
Only the transports would.
The transports themselves would have the Vanguard tokens. Yeah.
Right. And I think the only lists you can the only list that you can legally do that in might be 212, actually.
Correct.
Because you have 3 lats. Because you can't take Gavs and Remnant, right?
All transports are heavies, and the only list that allows 3 heavies at all, aside from the Dark Trooper situation, is 212.
Yep. Yeah. So, if you want to take 3 helicopters, you can do something finicky there. I'm not sure. Yeah.
That would be sick, though. I gotta be sick.
Yo, on theme really sounds really cool. Probably also really bad.
But it would be sick when you do it.
Yeah. So there are ways the transport units might be better on this object. I don't know. Again, I think this is this one I think is going to require some playing through to kind of understand how this objective is going to ebb and flow. It is worth pointing out that like these objective tokens are really, the POIs are like really far away from each other. This is like intercept signals length of away from each other. In the middle objectives are actually pretty, like they're
like almost on top of each other.
I'm pretty sure most vehicles will probably be able to contest both of those POIs at the same time. So the Persuader might touch both at the same time, like
and literally, probably talk about this in a near future episode, but literally everybody's going to have access to a long 2 vehicle with the Wolo tank. So it's no longer just going to be a Rebel Shadow Collective and CIS thing to have a big or an Empire. I guess there's everybody except Republic. But so this one is really interesting, and I guess it's just like Supply Run, or even more than Supply Run. I can't picture how it's going to work out until I actually play a game with it.
My gut here is that if you don't want breakthrough, you probably don't want this. Is my suspicion. I'm not positive on that. That's just like where my head is gone immediately.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the units that are really good on breakthrough will also be good on outflank, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm not sure if that will end up being true, but that's my take without playing it.
Now help me list build again, Mike. Am I wrong to say that naked geos / Sunfac are actually very good targets for this? Because they're
Yeah,
in the list to be
pieces.
objective boys anyway.
Uh-huh.
They're unlike the speeders, they're not on the list for fighting. I would not want to give it to my staffs because I want the staffs to be able to participate in the fight, and they're going to die, mega die if they have Vanguard tokens. But Geos could deploy from the short edge, triple move to like hide close to my home zone, and then triple move again to score my home POI the next round. They're allowed to do that because it's not an asset. And then they would just like hang out at home instead of doing their usual thing of like chasing objectives on shifting or diving into intercept points, something like that. What do you think?
I suspect that you're actually going to want to pick durable units for Vanguard tokens rather than
Even when you have Aquas?
I just like in order to score these points, like you're engaged. Like your stuff's getting shot. You know.
The literal home point is not terrible as far as that goes.
I'm not sure
It's
that's
range 2 up. It's like it's right like the research points. They're also range 2 up.
they are, but they're directly across from each other, unlike the research points. And like
That's true. That's true.
they're like we're talking like if I'm contesting mine and you're contesting yours, it's possible we're at range 1 of each other.
Yeah.
Like if my charging unit is contesting my home point, I can charge everything on your home point.
Yeah. That's true. You know what? I think that for the sake of the content, I'm gonna run both these new cards in my list when I take it to Portland, and we'll just like see how it works out.
I'm not saying that your deck would be bad at it, but I do think that your deck probably chooses for Vanguard units Grievous and your Aquas.
Yeah. And you know, honestly, like there is that one point that's near the flanks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you're sending Grievous and both Aquas like at that point, your opponent's gonna have to work hard to and like fly directly into the face of 3 units that are tough to kill. And
and
then
maybe it's just Grievous and one Aqua, so you can like hold an Aqua on the middle line, and
sure.
like I don't, and maybe you pick one stap. Is I don't know. You don't want to really separate your steps.
I like Grievous and Aqua and then Sunfac because one guy is going to be easier to hide on the back one.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I also think
Harder to
that it's
suppress
like
Sunfac.
what is unclear to me about this objective is how much you want to fight to hold the outflank position on your side of the board. Like there's clearly like one flag that is this like if you're looking at the board, the flag on your left is the one you're attacking, the flag on the right is the one you're trying to hold, right?
Right,
And
right,
so
right, right.
I just don't know like how much lists are going to commit to actually holding against
The
the
one on the right.
Vanguard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is I think an open question to me.
I think it totally depends on what your opponent is likely to be flanking you with.
Right. And
If
this is why
they have sleeper cells, I'm going to stay the hell away from that side.
right, and this is why I think it kind of acts like breakthrough where it's like you sort of have to choose to commit or
Yeah.
not commit to even like competing for that objective. But I think it also like if you don't commit to yours, they might not commit to yours, and then you're just kind of at parity, and your Vanguard units might just be not doing anything all game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm excited to try it out. I'm excited to try out both of these. Just because I think it's gonna be a nice fresh look at the game. Did they say in the Ministrav about like how many total battle cards we'd be getting with this pack?
If they did, I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, like it definitely gets me excited for the rest, and it's cool of them to just like make them legal now. Um, I think that it's you can make pro and con arguments about like whether it's better to just release things all at once rather than to have temporary environments that are sort of like weirdly slightly different from each other as time goes on. But hey, I'm excited to try some new stuff out now.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It does feel like a slow trip though.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing that I'm a little bit, what I would like clarity on, I think, is what we can expect to be legal at Adepticon.
Right.
Is what I would like. Regardless of what it's going to be, I would just like to hear like, you currently have all of the cards that are going to be legal in Adepticon, or are like, if they're like, are they going to slow drip another one in February or something? Like that seems unlikely, but you know,
Seems like a great question to ask the Will/Wills
yeah.
this coming Friday. But on that note, Mike, I wanted to get to the battle forces, but I do have to get to a flight and also check out my hotel room. So I think that
Unreal, unbelievable, Evan.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sacrificing the content for not spending an extra day in Oklahoma City, as lovely as it's been. But so I think that then the next episode is going to be interview time. Then what we do next week will be when we can cover both the battle forces and just like general feelings on the rebalance, the points update. So we will hit those at the same time. So with that, Mike, how do we land this plane, even though I'm about to take off in a different plane?
Yeah, this has been the Notorious Scoundrels, Season 4, Episode 38. I'm Mike.
I'm Evan.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.